SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Y'all sports with Cliff Furr. Wednesday morning, turn that dial, let it burn. From Brookhaven down through the back roads, every small town star gets a turn. Y'all sports with Cliff Furr. Can you feel it? Southwest Mississippi proud. Presented by Bank of Brookhaven and Toyota of Brookhaven Loud.
Your teams, your town, your source. That's Y'all Sports. And I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports, joined by my friend and co-host, Brandon Shamatara. This is episode 6 of Y'all Sports Radio. And before we get started today, I just want to go ahead and give a special shout out to our sponsors. We're not going to have any ad reads today, Brandon, because we've got a very special guest, and I want to get every second we can in with him. So first, we're going to start off by thanking our friends at Bank of Brookhaven, Toyota of Brookhaven, Brandon Shamatara, State Farm Insurance, Juan Seed Store, and Sam Ballard with Good Hope Land and Timber. Brandon, our guest, has already joined us today, and you guys just shook hands when you came in, but we are joined by a man who wears many different titles. He is a World War II veteran, which is something that we love and respect and are so excited because there are fewer and fewer World War II veterans left. He is 99 years old and will be 100 in June. No,
November 7th.
November
7th.
7th. All right. And he is coach to everybody who knows him, Coach Alton Ricks, former Copiah Lincoln Community College head basketball coach. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today, buddy.
Thank you, Cleo.
Well, let's just get right into it, Coach. You are a basketball guy. You are a basketball coach. We're going to talk about the coaches that you coached later on. And Brandon's from Batesville, but he played football at Northeast Mississippi. And Brandon, when you talk about Northeast Mississippi, what do they love up there?
Oh, basketball, brother. It is a religion in Northeast Mississippi. I mean, just as soon as a kid can walk, they got a basketball in their hand. And so, just so many greats come from that area and just such a rich tradition that the parents, they just feed it to the kids, man, and everybody buys in. It's a wonderful thing to see.
Yep. Arnold Coliseum, Northeast, great facility there. Coach Ricks, you are from Wheeler.
Right.
And you were born in 1926.
Right.
All right, so tell me, what are your first memories of the game of basketball?
I had two cousins, John Ray and Arliss Ricks, that played at Wheeler. And going over there and watching them play in the early 30s on up to 35, 36, and 37 when I was in grammar school was our first memory.
And so you just kind of knew football wasn't even an option, was it?
We didn't. If the ball didn't bounce, we didn't bother with it.
So you're in this culture where basketball is beloved, and you played at Wheeler High. We were talking earlier off camera. You played during a time where everybody played everybody in the playoffs, right?
Oh, yeah. There was no division besides the school. We had 2 months of summer school and then 6 of winter, and we played games during the summer in that hot gym. I mean, we played other teams, and that was an early start, and it was regular for all. We had some 10 high schools in Prentice County, and we wouldn't play Boonville because they wouldn't play us.
Yeah. Yeah, Big Boonville didn't want to take a whipping from Little Wheeler. So you wind up playing, and you said, I think your junior year, you guys were third in the state, right?
1943-44, there's some 600 high schools in Mississippi. And this little kind of braggadocious year, we came in third. We couldn't beat Carson. They were coached by my first cousin, John Ricks, who was my coach at Colin my first year, and they had a big boy named Daly, and we couldn't handle him.
Couldn't handle him. Coach, what were the scores like of games back then?
You jump center after each field goal. If we scored 25, 28 points, we felt like we had a good night.
Yeah. So the jump ball after every field goal, we were talking about this earlier. I think this is just a neat thing to think about, Brandon. Coach Ricks is in the cradle of basketball for our state, and he is playing the game 50 years after it's invented.
Wow.
I mean, it's invented in Springfield, Massachusetts by Dr. Naismith, in the late in 1891. And it wasn't too much longer after that Alton Ricks was born.
They weren't very smart. They didn't cut a hole in the bottom basket. They had to get the ball out when it scored.
That's right. They took a stick and knocked it out of the bottom of the peach basket.
Right.
That's right. And we were talking earlier, Coach, you can remember, describe what the women's game was like back then.
Well, the court was divided up into 3 sections. You had 2 at a guard, 2 at forward, 2 at center. They couldn't get over the lines, and they had to stay within their boundaries. And from there, they went to half and half. When I was a student at Colin, they won state championship my first year, and we had 3 forwards and 3 guards. There were 6 on the team. A girl that made All-State, it didn't score a point. Her name was Taylor from Pine-Knoll. I'll never always
her job was like a defender. She
That's
couldn't
right.
cross
That's
that
right.
court. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
All-state defender.
That's right.
That sounds like soccer, right?
That's right.
I wish we could just bring that back, just not just to see like what it would look like, you know, because I've heard Miss Valesta Young, a friend of mine, she talked about what it was like playing at West Lincoln when they were playing like that. And that's the first time I'd ever heard of that. So you grew up in Wheeler, you played basketball at Wheeler, and then
Let me add just a bit about the girls' basketball. When I came to Colin in '55, we didn't have girls' basketball in the college. They felt it was detrimental to their health. And for 11 years, I didn't have the girls riding with us on the team because we didn't have girls' basketball for 11 years.
yeah, just show up and play guys.
Hold on. So they thought it was detrimental to their health.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we know that's not true. Things have changed. But speaking of change, Coach, America gets involved in World War II when you were at the ripe age, the prime age to go and serve. And I know you've been to the radio station before and talked about those experiences. But when you got done with your service, now's a chance for you to go and play college basketball. I'm sure that at that time, I know from reading about the football teams at Oklahoma, there were full-grown men playing college sports after being gone and serving in the war. Is that kind of your experience?
You have it right. I brought a pair of Converse All-Star shoes home from Yokohama in 1946 because I knew we couldn't get them in the States. And I was planning on going somewhere and playing basketball and maybe go to school part-time. But it worked out real well. I had a lot of good things to happen to me, and my military I was fortunate to serve our country, and really it was one of the highlights of my life.
You were probably pretty popular around your friends with those shoes, right? So you got
Oh, yeah,
those
you
Yokohama shoes.
You couldn't get them in the States. I got a USO. We had a USO privilege in Tokyo, and I was fortunate to go to Tokyo and visit the USO headquarters, and I brought them all the way across the Pacific.
How much did they cost, Coach? Tell me you remember.
It was less than $1. I don't remember exactly, but it was less than $1.
Coach, do you know how much name brand basketball shoes cost today?
No telling.
Oh, I mean, you're talking $200-300.
I got a pair that I wore my last year I coached, and that was 1966, sitting on the shelf. I don't think they'd be sellable now.
Yeah, collector's item. Yeah.
So you come back and you got to decide where you're going to play. And we talked about earlier, you had some other junior colleges trying to get you Delta State as well. Tell me about that family connection that brought you all the way down to Western Mississippi.
Well, as I said, my 2 cousins, John Ray and Artis, were Delta State players, outstanding players there. They'd already graduated, but I felt like I might need to go to a junior college. We didn't have a junior college in Boonville at that time, back in '46, and 3 of my teammates and the coach went to Scuba. We called it by the name of the town.
Scuba Tech.
At Scuba Tech, and then over at Moorhead, I had some friends over at Moorhead and some friends with Delta State. And John Ray had been coaching at Carson, and he hollered down the hill, here that was in mid-August, said he's going to Colin to coach. He said, would you like to come down? He said, I'll give you a half scholarship. That's all they had back then. Well, I wouldn't worry about scholarship. I just want to go somewhere and play ball. Yeah. So I came with John Ray to Colin in August of '46, and there was a lot of veterans on the campus at that time, a lot of us.
And was that the first time you'd been to South Mississippi?
The first time I'd have heard of it. No, I'd gotten Camp Shelby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Camp Shelby.
Yeah.
But that's my first time to hear about Colin, Copiah Lincoln.
Wow, and that's a relationship we'll get into later. But it's been a great one your entire rest of your life.
It sure has. It's been a major factor in my life. As I was telling Angela coming down, my family and I have 90 years as he's a student or faculty member at Colin. No one is close to that.
No, you're absolutely right. So you get there on campus. Coach, was Co-Lin still, it was a working farm at that point, right?
Oh, yeah, we had our own dairy. We had our own fields, and we had to work 1 day a month, and that was part of the program at Co-Lin.
They kept a pretty tight watch on y'all, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, especially the girls, right. Yeah.
I always heard the girls went, did the girls eat before the boys ate?
No, we'd sit down at the table, Miss Fanny Callender would blow a whistle, and someone would say a prayer, then we'd eat.
Yeah. I've heard stories, though, about the girls being marched back to the dorms after dinner. Like, you just weren't running around campus doing whatever you wanted to do.
No, when
right?
it started getting dark that afternoon, Miss Lola Stevens had a light outside of a room and up on the third floor, and that light went on and off. That meant the girls would come inside. And someone had to walk across campus when it went to the library at night. They had to have a host go with them to the library at night.
Yeah, had to have somebody host walking them there. So, all right, so you play at Co-Lin, you play 2 years there, and then you go to Delta State. When you were playing at Delta State, did you know that you wanted to be a basketball coach?
I think I did. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so tell me about your first couple jobs you had before you came back to coach at Co-Lin.
Let me go back first and tell you a little bit more about Co-Lin. When I came down, the coach wasn't able to recruit in his first year. We were just getting out of service, and we didn't have a lot of material. But second year, we came down with 3 boys from Northeast Mississippi, besides myself, and then Jim Sinclair was from Johnson, Mississippi, and a fellow named Frank Garner from Andalusia, Alabama. And we won the first state championship at Co-Lin in 1947-48. I was on Garland Brown from Boca Chica, but he had his arm broke, and he had to play a little bit, but he couldn't play very much with a broke arm.
Yeah, that was.
His granddaughter, by the way, is a softball coach.
That's right. Malia's granddad played at Co-Lin, played with you, man. That's
with one arm.
Yeah, and we've already had her on here, so we're just making connections here on Y'all Sports Radio.
Right.
So you wind up playing at Delta State. Back then, Delta State already had a reputation as a place that loved basketball.
All of us
right?
went to Delta State except Jim. He went to Tulane, and after he got down there, he let us know he wanted to come to Delta State, but we didn't have a scholarship for him.
Yeah, wow.
So when you drive over to the Mississippi Delta, was that your first time to be in the Delta?
You're right, and the water didn't run off real quick.
What'd you tell me about that experience? Some sights and some sounds, and even maybe the insects. They're different in the Delta now.
Right. Well, as I said, it was flat country, and I was used for the hills. And after a big rain up in the hill, we'd get out and go anywhere we wanted. But that's not true. We had to wade across the water from the dormitory to the Whitfield gym there at Delta State to get in the gym in the morning. Yeah, it was quite a culture change for us hill boys.
Yeah, and of course, being semi from the Delta, we always make the joke that the mosquitoes are so big in the Delta they can often be mistaken for turkeys. They're that big. And they will latch on to you and bite.
You hit it exactly right. We noticed that going out to the light ball games, football games, and hey, it has to build up a smoke fire to watch the game to keep the mosquitoes off of you.
I can imagine the lights being on in the gym, and then the gym just fill up with mosquitoes.
Yeah, we played in Whitfield there, of course, and before the new gym was built up there, and you're right. If you would get in, and you knew about that because they'd attack you real soon. Mm-hmm.
They always say you can put a saddle on them and ride them, and those mosquitoes right. in Cleveland. Well, look, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're just going to keep talking about Coach Ricks and his experience at Co-Lin, and the fact that we're talking to a guy that some of the best coaches in the state of Mississippi played for him, and I don't think that's a coincidence at all. So we'll be back on Y'all Sports Radio here in a minute with Coach Alton Ricks.
Good Hope Land and Timber is a full-service land and timber company that offers years of experience in forestry and land management. Our services include timber and land purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting. Our company has an experienced logging force that is trained according to the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Give Sam Ballard a call at 601-669-5999 for all your timber harvesting and land management needs.
Welcome to Juan's Seed Store, your go-to spot for all your farming and agriculture needs right here in Brookhaven. Located at 636 Greenview Trail, we're much more than just a seed store. Need boots? We've got you covered with Durango, Rocky, Muddy, and Gator Wader brands. And if you're looking for style, rock and roll denim will keep you looking sharp while you work. We also carry durable key overalls and workwear. Shop with us Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Juan Seed Store, where we're so much more than just a seed store.
All right, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio. Very special episode, it feels like. We've got Coach Alton Ricks in studio with my co-host Brandon Shamatara and myself. And Coach, your coaching career at Copiah Lincoln Community College, or the Copiah Lincoln Junior College as it was called back then, from 1955 to 1966. When you got hired in 55, Coach, was that just an absolute dream come true for you to get to come back and coach your alma mater?
Well, when I left Colin, I was West Ridge, Arkansas, and then Bruce, Mississippi, and I've been starting my 5th year in New Albany. And the school called me and said, Alton, you don't have a job here anymore. And I said, have I been doing that bad? He said, no, you're going to Colin. I had no idea that I'd ever be back at Colin. He said, Mr. Ewing will meet you at Wood Junior College and tell you the details. And so I was gone. That was October the 1st, 1955.
You didn't apply. They just told you.
I didn't apply.
They just told you this is your job.
This is your job.
Felt like the selective service all over again.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So, Coach, back then you were playing in Callender Gymnasium, right?
Right.
And was that the cafeteria underneath?
It was a little bookstore underneath. The cafeteria also was underneath, yeah.
And so, I mean, I just imagine what the atmosphere was like there. I mean, how many fans could you fit in that gym?
Well, maybe 600 at the most, and it was a difficult situation. You know, we had an outside stairway and then an upstairs front. You couldn't get in and out very well, and we were real concerned if we'd had a real problem up there. But about 600 was a maximum number. But we'd sell out. You had to get there early to get a seat. Yeah,
I bet it's the intramural gym now. That they call it the hot box. Wow. It's going to be used again for volleyball starting next year, which will be exciting for the fans to be able to come to Callender and watch volleyball there. Coach, we're going to get into some of the coaches that you coached, and one guy is somebody that fans locally here know, and that's Jack Case.
Hey, we all know Jack.
Yeah, I'm sure you got some Jack Case stories.
Well, Jack. I got Jack kind of on the rebound. He went to Mississippi State, and he wasn't happy up there. Not because he couldn't play, but his girlfriend was at Boca Children, so he had to come back. And so we got Jack eligible and got the new gym built. We opened it in 59, and Jack had been bragging he's going to make the first goal. Well, the game started, and they didn't throw the ball to Jack. Jack came by and said, Coach says, you know, I'm on this team too. I said, Jack, they'll throw you the ball after somebody scores. And then a boy named Robert Newsom scored. Of course, had Henry Hoskins playing in there. Boy, they had two good players. And so Jack didn't score the first goal, and I still laugh at him about not scoring the first goal in that new gym.
He was calling his shot, and his teammates made sure that didn't happen. Huh?
Oh, they didn't throw him the ball. They knew what would happen if he was going to score.
You know, when I think about Jack Case, I think about talking to Gwen Young, and Gwen Young telling me when he was little growing up at West Lincoln, Jack Case telling his daddy, give him a basketball, get him a goal, get him out there and let him shoot. He could see that Gwen Young was going to be a basketball player one day, and the influence that you had on Jack Case. And another guy who had influence on Gwen Young and a lot of people was M.K. Turk, former Colin head coach, former Southern Miss head coach, Memphis head coach. Coach, tell me the story about how M.K. Turk from Kentucky came to play at Colin.
Well, it'll take me just a minute to do that. We were playing Northeast, and Northeast, they were a little ambitious on giving scholarship. In fact, they were illegal, if you want to say it right here. I'm saying it right in front of
you hear that, Brandon?
That's my alma mater, Coach.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Von Arnold was given 5 out-of-state scholarships, 5, and you could only play 3. And one of those boys was in Barberville, Kentucky, and they didn't play him. He was made a manager out of him. And they came down to spend the night, and he said, Coach, I got something to tell you. And he said, there's a boy up in northwest Kentucky that's really good. He's a forward. He's 6 foot. He can't play at Kentucky or maybe Western Kentucky, but he is a good player. And he told me about MK. So I dropped a line to MK, gave me his address, and MK came down for a visit. And that's when we had a lot of activities on the campus on the weekends. And he drove that yellow Mercury down, and he said, hey, I like what I see down here. He later got home, and he wrote me, he said, I'm planning on coming to Colin. And I said, that's great. I don't have a 5 full scholarships. I got one for you. And do you have anybody to come with you? I might come up with someone to come with me, but he was a good one. He came down, and he and Ed Murphy played together a couple of years.
Yep,
yeah.
Ed Murphy. And I wrote about that a few years ago when Coach Turk passed away, the fact that at Colin, playing for you, Coach Ricks, you had the future Southern Miss head coach and MK Turk, and you had a future Ole Miss head coach in Ed Murphy. And that's another great story. Tell me about recruiting Ed Murphy from Syracuse, New York.
Well, I had a center signed. I didn't have a center in our district here, and so I needed a center. I said center signed from out over in Louisiana. And he wrote me a letter just before school started, about 3 weeks before school started. He says, Coach, I got married, and I need a married apartment to come over there. I didn't bother to answer the letter because we didn't have any apartments for athletes, and so I called my buddy down, Burl Shipley, down in southwestern Louisiana. I said, hey, Burl, I played with in Dallas State. Anyway, I said, I need a tall boy. He said, I have a brother that's in Syracuse, New York, and there's a boy up there that purposely failed the 12th grade to go to prep school, and you might get him. His name is Ed Murphy. So I called Ed, and Ed caught the next plane down. School started about a week before school started. And I said, look here what I have, 6'8" and 165 pounds. Those old blue jeans he had on were baggy, and I carried him to the gym first. See, he could catch a basketball, and he could. I carried him over to the cafeteria second, and he had never eaten cornbread cut up in squares. And he said, boy, this cake sure tastes good. I said, Ed, this is cornbread. He'd never eaten black-eyed peas or mashed potatoes, and he hit it off real well. Everybody got to know him, and he fit right into the community. Being a Catholic kid from Syracuse, that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah. And you told me once, though, was Ed, did he have to play with the high school?
Well, he had to go 1 year in high school. He didn't have enough units to go into college. So he's the only player I had that played high school and 2 years of college. He was a starter for 3 consecutive years at Colin. He played 1 year in high school and 2 years in college.
And y'all could just make it work. I mean, did y'all call and get his transcripts, or y'all just said, go ahead and play ball, buddy?
Yeah, and I said, Ed, I know you are from Northeast, way up in the Syracuse, and your lifestyle a little bit different down here. But if I ever get you drinking the beer, I can send you home quicker than I can recruit you. So that's been real quick. And I said, Ed, don't drink the beer while you're down here in the South.
Man,
no, he fit in real well. I was fortunate to get Ed.
And he loved it. I mean, Ed coached at Delta State. He coached at Ole Miss. He coached at New Mexico State, right?
New Mexico, yep.
And had a career where he basically stayed in the South the rest of his time. So he must have liked he must have liked that cake.
Oh, it's West Georgia University. He stayed over there and retired AD, and that's where he lived for several years. Yeah.
So tell me about some other guys, coach. If somebody were to talk about your best players you coached at Colin.
Well, let me stop here and say now, because Lincoln County, I could not have fielded a team without these Lincoln County boys. You know, you have 5 high schools here in Lincoln County, and hey, that was the core of my team over the years. Yeah, I think I could tell you some players from every one of those schools, but if I tell you some, I'll leave off some good ones, and they'll get back to me. But yeah, I had some good ones. I had Henry Hoskins from here from Brookhaven. He had Willie McGee, Boca Chica. Well, getting back to Henry, I had Shelby Watts from Brookhaven.
Shelby Watts. Coach. When I was growing up, Shelby Watts was coaching at Central Hines. He had coached at Forest Hill, and he was somebody that my high school coach, Dale Watts, he looked up to Shelby Watts.
Yeah, Shelby could drive and pass it off to Ken Fortenberry, the coach at Southeastern. Shelby was a good one. He was a good one.
Man.
Henry, we went up Northeast, and Northeast was undefeated. And Jack and Henry, between those two, smoke's cleared. We beat them 113 to 110 that night.
Wow.
And that's another thing. All right, so you grew up playing basketball when 25-20 was the regular, but you were coaching during a time where the scores were so high and there was no 3-point line.
That's right.
What was it like, Coach? Was it just run and just were your guys in great shape?
Well, they had to be, and you didn't usually have any substitutes like M.K. Turk. If we'd had a 3-point, he probably would average close to 25, 28 points a game because he could shoot the ball. And Ed was a rebounder. He played on the goal. He wasn't real strong, but he was my center there for 3 years. Yeah.
You know, locally, Coach John Gray was somebody that loved basketball, and he played at Mississippi College on some teams in the 50s, and they averaged like 120 points a game. And once I said, Coach, how? With no 3-point line. And he said, buddy, we got it out of the bottom of the net, and we chunked it down the court, and we tried to run and go score as quick as possible. Was that kind of the name of the game?
Yeah, that's the name of the game. In the new gym, Johnny was playing on a team from Hines that beat us when we supposed to won. That was when Jack was playing, Henry was playing, and they beat us 95-94. And, hey, I went back to the gym next morning to see if my key fit the door because after losing that ball game, a lot of people wanted us to win that game at night. Fortunately, it did fit.
Oh, man.
Let me say right here first, Cliff. Now, Lincoln County, I could not have fielded a team if we hadn't had those Lincoln County boys. You know, West Lincoln, Enterprise, Bogachita, Lord Star. And
that was the basis of your team every year in, year out.
That's right. That's really the basis of my team, right.
Another local name we were talking about earlier, Gabe Terrell, another guy who coached basketball and very well known around here. He played for you too, right, Coach?
Gabe played. He was a spot shooter, good shooter, and was even better baseball player than he was. But we didn't have baseball much up at Colin at that time. But he went on over to Henderson, Alabama. I had 3 boys to go over there, and several went up to West Alabama. And
when y'all would travel to game, coaches or coach, when y'all would travel to games, did y'all take a bus or did y'all ride in station wagons?
Oh, we had an old school bus that sometimes we'd have to carry a bucket along with us called a radiator to boil over and have to stop and get water to pour in it. But we'd spend the night. If we went up northeast, we'd spend the night in Boonville and then go over to northwest for the second night and then drive home after the ball game. Gulf Coast, we'd go down there and play at Gulf Coast at Perkinston, and then go to Pearl River the same way down there. You had weekend trips. Yeah. We'd go in other schools. We could make it in one day, like Hines and Holmes.
Yeah, but those were overnight trips you guys would take, and I'm sure it was probably a little bit longer drive to get to Boonville on a school bus that had a bad radiator.
Yeah, you have the 3 rooms upstairs in what's called a new gym at Colin. As for the visiting teams to spend the night up there, I'm sure those rooms are still up there.
They are. That's where the visiting teams get dressed, and they've always now they keep bunk beds in them, and if there's ever like bad power outage, Energy will stay there and while they're doing line work. But for the longest time, people have asked me. They said, "Man, what's with the beds up there?" And Coach Young explained that to me. He's like, "Man." Because you would keep them there, you'd let them eat from the cafeteria?
They'd spend the night and then go somewhere else and play the next night. It's like Northeast and Adawamba and those schools back then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you coached until 66, Coach.
Right.
But you kept working at Colin for a number of years. You were a dean, weren't you?
Well, I was an academic counselor.
Yep.
For 6-7 years, and then in '75 I went in the dean of students' office.
Dean of Student Services, and you did that for another 20 years, right?
Almost about 16 years.
Yeah. And so, you've stayed closely connected with the school throughout everything, right? I mean, it's just when I go to a Colin basketball game, if you're not there, I wonder what's going on.
Well, I've been fortunate, I've only missed. I came there to Colin was 18 years old. And I've missed 7 homecomings. And Angela's going to have 100th anniversary in 2 more years.
That's right. That's right. It's going to be the Alton Ricks homecoming. My wife Angela's here. She works at the foundation at Colin, and we'll talk about the planning for that, and we'll also talk to Coach about maybe if you're trying to live to 100, maybe some tips that he could give you when we come back. We're going to take another break here on Y'all Sports Radio, and we'll have another segment with Coach Alton Ricks when we get back.
Looking for the perfect, unique gift? Visit Juan's Seed Store at 636 Greenview Trail in Brookhaven. Discover our stunning waxed amaryllis bulbs. Simply place and watch them grow. Soy lotion candles from Waveland Candle Company provide an eco-friendly clean burn and provide a moisturizing scented lotion when burning. Sippy Scents out of Pearl has created the most intense fragrances for detergents, cleaners, room sprays, and oils. Shop these selections and more today at Juan's Seed Store.
Trust the experts at Good Hope Land and Timber, your full-service land and timber company with years of experience in forestry and land management. From land and timber purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting, our team handles it all. Our experienced logging force is trained to the highest standards under the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Call Sam Ballard today at 601-669-5999. Good Hope Land and Timber, locally trusted, landowner approved.
All right, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio. I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports. If you're ever looking for Y'all Sports, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us at y'allsportsms.com. And we are so honored to be joined today on episode 6 of Y'all Sports Radio by Coach Alton Ricks. And we've been going through and we've been talking basketball. I want to talk a little life here, Coach. I know that you are a blessed man in many ways, coming up on your 100th birthday. And you're also blessed to have the love of your life, Miss Jean, still with you to this day. Tell me about meeting Miss Jean, Coach.
Well, Cliff, don't have a lot to say. I'm just fortunate and lucky, and a lot of other attitudes of you that fit right in there. Coming down to South Mississippi and everything, it's been my life, and I've enjoyed it. And not ready to go quite yet, but but again, it's been fortunate for my life and my family to come to Copiah, Lincoln, and for me to come down as a student way back in August of '46, and as a newcomer, and hadn't been away for very long.
Yep. Did you meet Miss Jean at Colin?
No. Now, you don't open something else there now. I was coaching at Bruce, and we had two boys that had a brother that was a real big supporter of the athletic program, and he said, there's a girl working at the bank that would like to meet you. You need to know. I said, I'm not down here to talk to wild women. I'm down here to coach basketball. He said, well, it'd be nice if you met that girl that works in the bank. So one day I went to the post office, and she was carrying supplies from the bank into the post office, and I saw the backside. I said, look at there what I see. So I timed it the next day to be there a little bit later, and I saw the front side, and it looked better than the back side. And she'll kill me if she hears if you tell her about what I said about that.
We need to make sure she hears this.
So she was from Bruce, and she had 2 pairs of shoes and 1 dress, and I better say anything else. And we came to Colin.
A great personality, right?
She came to Colin. I said, you got to go to school. So I said, our schedules don't work out together. So she started school and got a BS degree from Mississippi College in Colin, and had two kids in 3 years. So that was pretty good. And she still takes care of me.
That's right. We want to add that in. She is a special lady. Coach, what are you up to these days in year 99? Have you given up gardening, or what's your day consist of?
I have not given up gardening. I called the Presley twins this morning. I said, Don and Dan, I need you to go help me get some chicken fertilizer, put on my garden Wednesday morning. I said, my gardening partner, Philip Case, is tied up with a sore shoulder. He said, okay, we'll do that. I fish with Don and Dan, by the way. Anyway, I still garden. I still have my tomatoes, and I got my iced potatoes planted now, and I got onions and so forth. But I got to get out there and get in that garden.
Do you think that's a key for you, Coach? I know clean living. I know you're not somebody that's ever been a drinker or a smoker or anything like that. Is that the key to making it to 100 years?
Well, you came up under Coach Arnold up at Wheeler. You didn't drink RCs back then because that was bad for your health if you were playing basketball. Yeah, I've been kind of careful, but I get careless on occasion. But I've been careful on that, and get some exercise and do what I can do.
Just stay moving.
Yeah.
Stay moving. Yeah. Well. have you seen any Co-Lin games this year? Have you seen the men and women play in person?
I have not. I did not get to go out to see them play the other afternoon against Northwest. I plan on going out there, but I've went out to one softball game, and
that's right. You're a big Co-Lin softball fan.
Oh yeah, I enjoy that, and I don't get out much at night, and that's one thing. I plan on getting out and seeing the basketball team play. And they play in the new gym. You know how old that gym is?
Oh.
We opened it in '59, so figure it out.
But it's still the new gym to you.
Still the new gym.
Now, it's not the new gym to anybody else, but it's still the new gym to you. And maybe one day we'll have a new gym there on campus in Wesson. Well, yeah. Do you have any favorite softball? You were there watching those two national championship teams. Do you have anybody that was like your favorite softball player to watch there at Co-Lin?
Well, there's so many good ones. I've been going out there and watching girls softball now for several years, and we've had some really good players. Of course, I like to watch the good pitchers and the good hitters, and not really anyone is favorite.
Well, I think I remember seeing you just about jump up out of your chair at an Abby Grace Richardson home run.
That's exactly right. I got the first row down there. Yeah, I got that reserved. They know to put my name on that first seat down on the first row.
That's right. If you're ever watching the Co-Lin live stream and they show a shot from the plate, you will always see Coach Ricks over the umpire's shoulder.
Right. I watched the playoff last year when they won the national championship.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, Coach, it has been an absolute honor for me to have you on here and talking. And, something I teach 8th grade English, and I tell kids, I say, listen, if you have grandparents who have stories about the lives they've lived, it's important that you talk to them and that they share those stories with you so that then you can have those stories to carry with you. And you've got a head full of great stories involving basketball, involving Co-Lin, involving World War II. And I don't want this to be the last time that we talk on Y'all Sports Radio. In November, when you hit 100, why don't you come back for us?
Well, Cliff, let me say that it's an honor for me to be down and reminisce on my experiences. I don't know where anyone really enjoyed too much about hearing what I have to say, but it's been a joy for me.
No, we definitely want to hear, Coach, and like I said, we're going to have you back again. And man, when I think about basketball in Southwest Mississippi, Alton Ricks is a name that is at the very top of the list.
Like I tell my boys, I say, I had some good players. They just need better coaching.
I don't know about that. He's humble. He is almost 100. He is a one-of-a-kind. He's a good friend of mine. He's a great friend of my wife, Angela. That's Coach Alton Ricks here on Y'all Sports Radio. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back in a minute, and Brandon and I will wrap it up.
Good Hope Land and Timber is a full-service land and timber company that offers years of experience in forestry and land management. Our services include timber and land purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting. Our company has an experienced logging force that is trained according to the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Give Sam Ballard a call at 601-669-5999 for all your timber harvesting and land management needs.
Looking to gear up for turkey hunting season? Head over to Juan's Seed Store at 636 Greenview Trail in Brookhaven. Our spacious new store features a licensed gunsmith, Brian Wilson, ready to assist you. Explore our extensive selection of firearms. Don't miss our outdoor and hunting section, stocked with optics, chokes, and accessories. Grab your Windy Hill shells or choose from Remington, Migra, or Hornady. Plus, we have Swamp Boy turkey calls and everything else you need for a successful hunt. Come visit us and prepare for your best hunting season yet.
Yeah, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio. I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports, joined by my friend and co-host Brandon Shamatara. Before we get into talking about Coach Ricks for a second, I want to thank our sponsors again, Bank of Brookhaven, Toyota Brookhaven, Brandon Shamatara, State Farm Insurance, Juan Seed Store, and Sam Ballard with Good Hope Land and Timber. Brandon, You just got, I know what it's like. You just got the Alton Ricks experience. He is a one of one, is he not?
Man, if you know much about me, you know that I'm never short on words. I can all, and I always want to be in the conversation, but sometimes it's best to just listen. And thank God that I've matured in my life to understand that, because if I were to be opening my mouth while Coach Ricks was here, I would take away from something special. And so I just got a history lesson, man, and I appreciate him and just just the energy that he brings at 99 years old, and just his passion for basket. I mean, just on and on. And so I was just sitting here like I hadn't said anything in a little while, and I like it that way. I just want to listen. So for all you young guys out there, all right, listen to this. If there is someone around you that you can tell has wisdom, be quiet and just listen and learn, because that man is a wealth of wisdom. He's 99 years old, and he's sharper than some 30-year-olds I know.
He can recall details.
Just be quiet, listen, and just hang on for the ride, because, hey, guys like Coach Ricks, man, just outstanding. So good to listen to.
Hey, he didn't just tell you about games that he played as a high schooler in the 1940s. He told you the final score. I mean, he is absolutely amazing. That's the thing when I'm around Coach Ricks and I listen to him and I think about the fact that this man was born in 1926. I had a grandfather of that generation that I loved and I miss. And if he were here, he would be that old. But never did I think that he would ever live to be that old. But Coach Ricks, man, I want him to live forever. And when he is gone from here, I want him just to leave in a cloud, because he is just such a special person to me. He's a special person to my wife, Angela. If you don't know, Angela's in charge of the foundation there at Colin. And Coach Ricks has, like you said, he's only missed like 7 homecomings all the time. He's got strong opinions about Colin homecoming. And Angela moved him from Saturday to Thursday years ago. And Coach Ricks was letting her know he didn't like it. And she was like, well, Coach, I'm sorry, but this is what we're going to do. But she would rather anything in the world than ever think that Alton Ricks was cross with her for even a second. They have a special relationship. And, it's crazy to think about. Like I said, Brandon, I mean, basketball was invented in 1891. He's playing basketball in the 1940s. He remembers what it was like to jump ball after every basket. I mean, he has seen the game come from the dark ages of its inception, as far as like rules and things like that, and women not being able to play, to where it is today. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I just wondered, I wanted to ask him, since he first started playing basketball to now, and how the game has evolved, what are some things that he liked, and what are some things that maybe he maybe didn't like as much. But again, I was just listening, brother. I just hanging on and trying to learn a little something here. He did make mention before he just left a moment ago. He said, I forgot to mention that I was all-state at Wheeler High School.
That's right.
And he said, I was also all-state at Colin. So Coach and I share something in common. We were both all-state junior college athletes. And I knew we hit it off right off the bat.
You guys have a secret handshake that you do that I'm not privy to. Yeah, and just, I loved how he was so complimentary of Lincoln County. And he is from a part of the state where basketball is, to call it anything other than religion is not to really, you can't really encapsulate what it means. Every year I go to the Mississippi Coliseum and I see places like Ingomar, places like Pine Grove, places like New Site, and they show up and they fill that lower bowl of the Coliseum up, and they play really beautiful team-based basketball. Tishomingo County is another good one from up there. And so to know that he's from up that part of the world, and then he comes down here to play basketball at Colin, and he stays here, and he coaches guys like Jack Case and Gabe Terrell and M.K. Turk, Ed Murphy, who they went on to grow the game in their own individual ways. I can't help but think when you talk about Coach Alton Ricks, you're talking about a godfather of basketball in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, no doubt, Cliff. And we could have him on for hours and hours, and he could just tell story after story. And he's just full of them. And I heard you tell a story that he told you that he also shared on this show, and it wasn't the same, but it was great. Like, it was other details. It wasn't like he left something out. He just added other details. And so just the legacy that he's built in this community. And I'll tell you what, big props to Lincoln County and Southwest Mississippi, because up in Northeast Mississippi, we talked about how big the game is there, but evidently he found his niche here and realized, hey, it's just as important there too. I think I can hang around here. And you're right, he did keep going back to he intentionally did it twice, because we were talking about these out-of-staters. Those are always fun stories, to hear about the 6'8" guy, because when Ed came, 6'8" guys, they weren't a dime a dozen.
They're like unicorns.
Yeah. And I just imagine as he was telling us about the baggy pants, because they weren't making clothes for 6'8" guys back then, right? And so, but he kept bringing it back home to. We couldn't have had the success we had without the Lincoln County guys, and that was important to him. And so, if you guys have ever played for Coach, been around him, tell him you appreciate that, because that meant something to him. Because, like I said, he kept circling back to it, and he wanted to be sure everybody understood Lincoln County has special basketball. Yeah,
his daughter Sherry Ricks Davis, she's a friend of mine, and Sherry had said when she heard I was doing this, she was like, "Hey, you need to get my dad on Y'all Sports Radio." And I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'm not. Listen, when it happens, it's not because you asked me to. I'd already written out 52 names, and Coach Ricks was on my first list that I wrote out. And so then he was in Angela's office the other day. He still drives. He could have driven down here today, but I just told Angela, I said, go pick him up and chauffeur him down here. And he said he had no problem being driven around by a pretty lady. Yeah. And so
he made point to say that in front of Cliff.
Yeah. Right. Hey, listen. I have no problem. If somebody hits on my wife at Betty's, that's one thing. If Alton Ricks is hitting on my wife, that's a completely different thing.
Also, I want to say this: when you guys see him, tell him you appreciate his overalls, because he was a little bit worried about. He's an overall guy, and I can't wait till I'm old enough just to wear overalls all the time.
Getting your overall era.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, tell him you appreciate the overall. I want you guys, when you go to social media, check out the picture of Coach Cliff and I, and check out those overalls, man.
Yeah, he's rocking them, man. He's rocking them. You know, he always gives the look that he maybe just came from the garden or is just going to the garden. Yeah. But he is he's an awesome character, and so he was in my wife's office last week, and he was just dropping World War II stories.
Wow!
And I mean, I remember a couple of years ago when he was 97, they did something to recognize him on Veterans Day, and at that time, he was one of only 3 World War II veterans left in this area. Now, I don't know if the other 2 men, I think one was in Bogachita and another one was maybe here locally in Brookhaven, but. You know, it's like I was telling my students at school. I tell them all the time, especially like lately. We were reading a book that was about the Montgomery bus boycotts, and I'll tell the kids, I'll say, listen, if you have grandparents who lived through and experienced these times in American history, put your phone down and go, or pick your phone up and record them, because that's what Angela did. She recorded some of Coach Ricks talking about whenever he was leaving occupied Japan, and they started calling numbers to get on a bus, get on a boat, and they called everybody's number but his. And so he said, what do I do? And they said, wait, tomorrow you'll be on the next one. And he goes back in, and he's literally just can't sleep because he's like, I'm ready to get out of here. Yeah. And he winds up, I did not know, but he added that detail today. He got him a pair of kicks before he left.
He had some free time.
Yeah, he bought a pair of shoes, man.
How great.
So, you know, having a grandfather that was from that generation, I just have a great regret that I didn't sit down.
Yeah.
My poppy, his name was Ernest Garvin. He lived over in Jones County. I wish I could go back, put a camera in front of my poppy, because he told me these stories, little nuggets here and there. And so when Coach Ricks was in Angela's office the other day, and he was telling a World War II story that she had maybe even heard before. She got her camera out, and she said, Coach, I want you to tell me this one on camera because I don't want to ever forget this.
Yeah.
And that's what part of having him here today was. But I kid you not, when the man hits 100, we're going to have him back on Y'all Sports Radio.
Outstanding. Hey, listen, we just keep having these guests join us who make me feel a little bit less about myself. And that, I like that, man, because that's just the quality folks that you're bringing in here, and just wonderful stories, great people, wonderful leaders. And, man, we just, look, keep up the good work, Cliff. Keep getting these guests in here. And I need my dose of humble pie at least weekly.
Well, it's an hour I look forward to every week is getting to come in here on Monday afternoons and film this or record this, and then it be played back for our fans on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. here on SuperTalk. Very thankful that SuperTalk allows us to do this. It encourages me, and it also kind of challenges me to find somebody new and then what's the next story going to be. But I knew that Coach Ricks was a story that we definitely wanted to tell, and it's one that that I just I have so much great respect for him. He's always been so kind to me. When I was coaching at Colin, he would humbly talk about how he was the losingest coach in Colin history, but he was also the winningest coach in Colin history for a long time. Just a character. And look, Brandon, you're not from here, but to realize this, Colin had a run where future Southern Miss head coach M.K. Turk was the head coach at Colin. Future Mississippi State coach Richard Williams of Final Four fame was the head coach at Colin. And Mike Jones, who led MC to some of its greatest years in athletics history as their basketball coach, he was coach of Colin. Those guys were all right there, kind of success of each other. And we talk about them as all-time greats. But we also have to talk about Coach Alton Ricks and the legacy that he left there at Colin, and just the fact that my guy's 99 years old.
Yes.
He's still riding around. He's still going to games. He's still
November 7th. November 7th, he turns 100.
And that's going to be a celebration, and we'll celebrate here on Y'all Sports Radio when that day comes. Look, want to thank our sponsors again: Bank of Brookhaven, Toyota Brookhaven, Brandon Shamatara, State Farm Insurance, Juan Seed Store, and Sam Ballard with Good Hope Land and Timber. This is Y'all Sports Radio. We will be back next week, hopefully with another story to inspire and challenge based around sports. For Brandon, I'm Cliff. And between now and then, we will see y'all on the sidelines of Southwest Mississippi.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.